Across the vast stretches of our oceans, tales of eerily abandoned vessels continue to send chills through history. Cloaked in silence and mystery, these ghostly ships carry stories that defy logic and baffle even the most skeptical minds. From unexplained vanishings to strange spectral sightings, their legends live on. Here are the top 15 most mysterious ghost ships ever recorded. Number 15. The unidentified ghost ship in Ireland. Embarking on this eerie voyage through maritime mysteries, we begin our journey with a startling discovery that occurred off the coast of Ireland. Picture this: a solitary ship appears out of nowhere, washed up on the serene shores of the Emerald Isle, stirring intrigue and apprehension amongst locals. As the waves played their mournful tune against the hull, the ship rested eerily quiet and devoid of any life. No captain barking orders, no crew bustling about. The ship was completely deserted. Even more puzzling, a look inside the ship revealed a sight that would send chills down anyone's spine. The ship's interior seemed to be stuck in time, tables set, food untouched, as if the crew had just stepped out for a moment, leaving their last meal behind. The ship was an enigma, a haunting vision that appeared as if it had popped out of the pages of a ghost story, and yet there was not a single trace of any crew. An entire crew had vanished without a trace, leaving only an eerie silence and a mystery that continues to baffle us. One can't help but wonder what happened on board this ghost ship. It's a riddle that's destined to keep us awake at night, pondering the inexplicable. Number 14. SS America. The story of the SS America traces back to its golden days as one of the finest ocean liners of the United States lines. Built in 1940, this majestic vessel ferried passengers and troops with grandeur across the Atlantic during World War II and its aftermath. But as time passed, she, like so many other ships of her kind, was overtaken by a new era of air travel. In the 1990s, the SS America, now under a new name, the American Star, was sold with plans to transform it into a luxury hotel ship off Thailand's coast. But fate had a different plan. En route, she was caught in a violent storm in 1994, snapping her tow lines, and she helplessly drifted towards the Canary Islands. After several days, the American Star met her tragic end, running aground off the coast of Fuerteventura. Number 13. Flying Dutchman. As we drift further into the realm of ghostly tales and nautical mysteries, we encounter one of the most legendary spectral vessels ever whispered about in seafaring folklore, the Flying Dutchman. This ominous ship is not linked to a specific historical event or a verified wreck. Instead, it's entrenched in the world of myths and legends, its tale retold in countless versions. The Flying Dutchman, according to the most popular lore, is a cursed ship doomed to sail the world's oceans for eternity, never able to make port. The saga began with a stubborn Dutch captain who, in a daring attempt to round the Cape of Good Hope during a vicious storm, swore he would press on until doomsday. Evidently, the universe took him at his word. Now the ship appears to sailors as an omen of doom, often sighted glowing with ghostly light in the midst of a storm. Despite its mythical status, numerous sightings of the Flying Dutchman have been reported over the centuries. Even King George V of England, when he was a naval cadet, claimed to have seen this spectral vessel. Its tale endures, embodying mankind's struggle against nature's unruly elements and reminding us that some seas are best left unchallenged. Number 12. SS Arang Medan. This Dutch vessel stands out amongst its ghastly counterparts due to its eerie predicament, one that could easily spring from the pages of a horror novel. In 1947, distress calls echoed from the ship across the Strait of Malacca. These calls spoke of the captain and crew members lying dead on deck, followed by a hauntingly cryptic final message, "I die." When rescuers boarded the ill-fated ship, they were met with a macabre sight. All the Dutch crewmen were indeed lifeless, their eyes wide open in horror, arms outstretched as if fending off a terrifying, unseen adversary. The ship's dog was also found dead, frozen in a similar state of terror, adding to the gruesome mystery. No apparent cause of death could be discerned. Even more peculiar, the SS Arang Medan was shortly found aflame, then ultimately sank, taking its untold secrets with it to the ocean's depths. Thus, the chilling tale of the SS Arang Medan ends as abruptly as its distress calls, leaving behind only a wave of questions, theories, and a touch of supernatural speculation. Number 11. The Baychimo. The mystery of the SS Baychimo reads like a riveting tale right out of an adventure novel. This steel-hull cargo steamer, built in 1914 in Sweden, was utilized by the Hudson Bay Company to trade provisions for pelts in Inuit settlements along the Victoria Island coast of the Canadian Arctic. But it was on October 1, 1931, when the Baychimo met her strange fate. Laden with a cargo of fur, the ship became trapped in pack ice, which was a common hazard in Arctic waters. The crew temporarily abandoned the ship, taking shelter some distance away. But when they returned, the Baychimo had vanished, seemingly claimed by the ice. But that wasn't the end. The Baychimo had other plans. Over the next 38 years, she transformed into a real-life ghost ship. Sightings of the vessel adrift and abandoned started to accumulate from sailors across the Arctic. Some managed to board her, confirming that she was deserted. Yet despite numerous salvage attempts, the Baychimo seemed to slip away each time, remaining untamed and free on the Arctic waters. Her last confirmed sighting came in 1969, making the Baychimo one of the longest-sighted ghost ships in nautical history. To this day, her final resting place remains a tantalizing mystery. Now it's time for today's topic. In September 2025, residents of northern Oregon made a shocking discovery deep within a remote forested valley near Nehalem Bay. A massive rust-covered freighter, over 250 feet long and weighing an estimated 10,000 tons, appeared grounded miles inland with no visible route from the sea. The ship, identified only by faded letters spelling Itulkeen G, showed signs of decades of corrosion, yet its hull was remarkably intact. Local hikers were the first to spot the vessel after unusually low rainfall revealed the valley floor. Soon, hundreds of curious onlookers gathered, baffled by how such a massive ship could have ended up in a place surrounded by dense pine forest. Experts suggested that historic floods or seismic activity might have once carried the vessel inland, but no recorded disaster matches the event. Even more puzzling, investigators found no trace of a crew, no logs, no personal belongings, and no signs of human life on board. The cabins were stripped bare, the control room empty, as if the ship had been abandoned long before it reached its final resting place. Some locals whisper it may be a Cold War relic or even a ghost ship carried inland by forces we still don't understand. For now, Oregon's mysterious freighter remains an unsolved enigma. Number 10. SS Valencia. Next we land on the tale of the SS Valencia, a doomed vessel. Its fate was sealed on a cold night in January 1906 off Vancouver Island's treacherous coastline. The ship, en route from San Francisco to Seattle, was swept off course by harsh weather and relentless currents. Despite the desperate efforts of the crew, the ship hit a reef, triggering a disaster of epic proportions. The Valencia rapidly started to take on water, and chaos and terror reigned on board. With over 100 passengers and crew, lifeboats were quickly overwhelmed, some capsizing in the freezing waters. By the end of this horrific ordeal, more than 100 lives were claimed by the sea. In the subsequent years, reports of phantom lifeboats and distress signals from the wreckage site added a haunting echo to this maritime disaster. And while the tragedy of the SS Valencia played out more than a century ago, the mysteries surrounding ghost ships are far from a thing of the past. Number 9. SS Cotopaxi. Sailing into the eerie echoes of the past, we now explore the peculiar tale of the SS Cotopaxi, a ship named after the lofty stratovolcano in the Andean Mountains. The SS Cotopaxi set sail in 1925 with a crew of 32, heavily loaded with coal. Her destination was Havana, but she would never arrive. Without warning, the ship and its crew vanished, swallowed by the Atlantic Ocean and speculated to be a victim of the notorious Bermuda Triangle. Reports from the time revealed that distress signals were sent, but their content was garbled and inconclusive, fueling speculation of something sinister. Families of the crew waited for weeks, hoping for word, but none came, leaving only silence. Rumors spread among sailors of ghostly sightings, claiming that a phantom coal ship drifted through fog banks in the Caribbean long after the Cotopaxi was declared lost. Newspapers sensationalized the story, linking it to the growing mythos of the Bermuda Triangle and whispering of ships cursed to wander forever. Theories ranged from sudden storms to mechanical failure, yet none could explain why no wreckage ever surfaced for nearly a century. Local fishermen even told tales of unusual lights at sea, attributing them to the restless souls of the Cotopaxi's crew. For decades, the vessel became a cautionary tale, its name invoked whenever another ship disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The mystery endured, passed down in coastal communities as both a tragedy and a legend of the deep. Each retelling only heightened the sense that the Cotopaxi was not just lost, but transformed into one of the ocean's spectral wanderers. The ship was eventually immortalized in pop culture, even appearing as a ghostly vessel in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The mystery deepened, legends grew, and the SS Cotopaxi was forever etched into maritime folklore, becoming one of the many ghostly phantoms of the Bermuda Triangle. Yet in an unforeseen turn of events, the wreckage of the SS Cotopaxi was found off the coast of Florida in 2020. The discovery was a staggering one. It challenged the ominous and mystical theories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle and put a more plausible, yet nonetheless tragic, story to the SS Cotopaxi's end. The ship had encountered an unexpected storm and had presumably sunk as a result, taking the lives of its crew members and submerging the ship to its watery grave. Number 8. Octavius. Our journey through the enigmatic world of ghost ships takes us next to the icy waters of the Arctic, where in 1775 a whaling ship stumbled upon a sight that sent chills down their spines, and it wasn't just the frigid cold. The Octavius, a ship thought lost 13 years earlier, was found drifting aimlessly, a ghostly specter against the stark white landscape. As the crew of the whaling ship cautiously approached and boarded the Octavius, the eerie silence told them that this was no ordinary salvage mission. Inside, they found a crew frozen in time, their bodies preserved by the Arctic chill. Lanterns still hung from the walls, their glass frosted over, as though the men had only just extinguished the flames. Food and utensils remained on the tables, untouched and frozen solid, as if the meal had been interrupted in an instant. Even the sails, tattered but still clinging to the masts, whispered of a voyage that had once carried such hope. The logbook revealed haunting details of their final days, noting the worsening conditions and their futile attempts to break free from the tightening grip of the ice. Some entries suggested the captain believed they could ride out the freeze, but optimism quickly turned to despair. Sailors' bunks were filled with frost-coated figures, their faces eerily calm, as though sleep had claimed them rather than death. The whalers who discovered the ship dared not linger long, fearful that such a cursed vessel might claim them too. Rumors soon spread, with sailors whispering that the Octavius had completed the fabled Northwest Passage, only to be swallowed by the Arctic's merciless silence. The image of a ship sailing alone for more than a decade, carrying only the dead, became one of the sea's most enduring ghost stories. The ship's log revealed that after a successful voyage through the Northeast Passage, they had become trapped in ice. The Octavius's captain, seemingly undeterred, had charted a course for Portugal. But tragically, the ship and her crew became prisoners of the unforgiving Arctic. The captain, frozen at his desk, pen in hand, a silent testament to their icy fate. This chilling tale of the Octavius, discovered 13 years after its disappearance with its crew perfectly preserved in death, remains one of the most haunting and enduring legends of the Arctic Sea. The image of that final log entry, inscribed by the captain's frozen hand, leaves us pondering the terrifying fate that awaited these seafaring souls in the icy, desolate expanse of the unknown. Number 7. Mary Celeste. Shifting our focus across the Atlantic, we encounter the tale of the Mary Celeste, an American brigantine with a history that continues to puzzle maritime investigators to this day. Launched from the shores of Nova Scotia in 1861, she was discovered adrift in the Atlantic Ocean on December 4, 1872. The discovery was made by the British brigantine Dei Gratia, whose crew was astounded to find the ship deserted but in seaworthy condition. What deepened the mystery was Mary Celeste's intact cargo of alcohol and the crew's personal belongings, undisturbed and left behind. Even the ship's logbook was still there, the last entry made 10 days before the discovery. The galley was stocked with food, the sails partially set, and the lifeboat gone, yet there was no sign of struggle or storm damage. Investigators marveled at how a ship so well prepared for a voyage could suddenly be abandoned mid-journey. Some suggested that alcohol fumes from the cargo might have caused the crew to fear an explosion, prompting a hasty evacuation. Others argued that a sudden waterspout or rogue wave could have swept the crew overboard, leaving the vessel to drift on alone. Conspiracy theorists even claimed the captain orchestrated a disappearance for insurance fraud, though no evidence ever supported this. Newspapers of the time sensationalized the story, branding it a ghost ship and capturing the imagination of readers across Europe and America. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, even penned a fictionalized account that further fueled the legend and blurred the lines between fact and myth. Over the years, divers and historians have scoured records and wrecks, hoping for answers, but the truth remains elusive. Each new theory only deepens the mystery, ensuring the Mary Celeste's place in maritime lore. To this day, her name evokes both fascination and dread among sailors, scholars, and storytellers alike. But where was the crew? No trace of the 10 souls on board was ever found, their fate becoming the subject of wild speculation and sensational theories. Mutiny, piracy, sea monsters, and even alien abduction were proposed, but no definitive evidence ever came to light. Even today, the Mary Celeste is a name synonymous with maritime mystery, a chilling reminder of the sea's untamed and unpredictable nature. Number 6. SS Waratah. Let's now voyage to the southern hemisphere, where another maritime mystery haunts the annals of seafaring. Cast your mind back to July 1909. The SS Waratah, often referred to as Australia's Titanic, embarked on what would be its final voyage. A luxury passenger liner known for its extravagant amenities, the SS Waratah was making its way from Durban to Cape Town, South Africa, with 211 passengers and crew on board. Yet the mighty vessel would never reach its destination. The ship sent its last message on July 27th, after which it vanished without a trace. Eyewitness accounts from another ship traveling the same waters reported seeing the Waratah struggle in heavy seas before it disappeared over the horizon, never to be spotted again. Rumors swirled in the aftermath that passengers had expressed unease during earlier parts of the voyage, with some even disembarking in Durban after feeling the ship rolled unnaturally in rough weather. Families left behind were desperate for answers, but as weeks turned into months, hope faded and grief took its place. Newspapers of the time called it the vanishing ship, feeding public fascination and fear in equal measure. Many search expeditions were launched, but each returned empty-handed, only adding to the Waratah's mystique. Survivors from nearby vessels later described encountering monstrous swells and sudden violent storms in the same area, sparking theories of rogue waves powerful enough to swallow even a great liner whole. Others speculated that shifting cargo or ballast might have made the Waratah top-heavy, dooming it in turbulent seas. Even conspiracy theories arose, with whispers of sabotage or a hidden explosion hushed up by shipping companies. For over a century, the Waratah has remained one of maritime history's greatest riddles. The silence of the ocean has preserved its secrets, leaving descendants of the lost still yearning for closure. Despite multiple search operations in the weeks and years that followed, no wreckage or debris was ever found. Theories abound about what could have happened. Some suggest a rogue wave or a sudden cyclone could have engulfed the ship. Others speculate about a possible flaw in the ship's design, perhaps making it susceptible to capsizing. Number 5. El Caleuche. Sailing in from the previous tale, we steer towards the mythical waters of Chile, home to the legendary ghost ship El Caleuche. Chilling and uncanny, the narrative around this ship takes a dive into the world of the supernatural, creating a ghost story that echoes through centuries. According to Chilean folklore, El Caleuche is not just an abandoned ghost ship, but one that sails the seas with a crew of the undead. This eerie ship allegedly appears every night near the island of Chiloé, glowing through the fog with ethereal lights and enchanting melodies. Locals claim they have seen its shimmering sails emerge suddenly from thick mist, only to vanish again without leaving a ripple in the water. Some fishermen whisper that strange laughter and music can be heard drifting across the waves, even on the stillest nights. Tales also speak of shadowy figures dancing on its deck, dressed in tattered garments that shimmer like seaweed under the moonlight. Many believe these spirits were once sailors who drowned in storms, their souls condemned to serve the phantom vessel forever. The ship is also said to harbor sorcerers of Chiloé, who use its power to traverse the seas unseen and spread fear among coastal villages. Witnesses who have encountered El Caleuche often report a sudden change in the air, a biting chill accompanied by the overpowering scent of salt and decay. There are even accounts of boats being pulled off course as though dragged by an invisible current, leading many to believe the ghost ship itself was choosing new victims. Such stories have persisted for generations, passed down as warnings to children and seafarers alike. It is said to be a conscious entity, capable of sailing underwater and transforming into other forms. As for the crew, these spectral sailors are spirits of those lost at sea, doomed to serve on board El Caleuche for eternity. What's more captivating is the ship's alleged role in the world of the living. Legends narrate that the ship has a malevolent purpose, causing shipwrecks and luring seafarers to their doom to recruit new crew members. Number 4. SS Kaz II. From the rugged, raw beauty of Chile's coast, we transition our journey to the warm, turquoise waters surrounding the Great Barrier Reef, Australia. It's here where the tale of the SS Kaz II unfolds, a tale steeped in mystery, leaving maritime experts puzzled for years. The SS Kaz II, a modest 10-meter yacht, set sail on a calm day in April 2007 with a 3-man crew planning a 2-month leisure trip along Australia's northern coast. 3 days after embarking on their voyage, the yacht was discovered drifting aimlessly. When rescuers boarded, they noted the eerie silence that hung over the vessel, a stark contrast to the scene of normality inside. The men's wallets, passports, and even their sunglasses were still on board, suggesting they had not intended to abandon ship. Even the engine was running smoothly, and the sails were neatly set, as though the crew had only just stepped away. Weather reports confirmed the seas were calm, ruling out a sudden storm as the cause. Some investigators theorized the men may have fallen overboard while trying to untangle a fishing line, yet this failed to explain why all 3 disappeared without leaving a trace. Others speculated about piracy, but there were no signs of a struggle or theft. To make the mystery stranger, the yacht had been spotted days earlier by another vessel, apparently sailing normally with no distress signals raised. Witnesses claimed they even saw figures moving about on deck, deepening the confusion about when exactly the crew vanished. As weeks turned into months, no bodies, no life jackets, and no lifeboats were ever recovered, leaving behind only questions. The SS Kaz II's fate quickly drew comparisons to the infamous Mary Celeste, another ship found eerily abandoned at sea. A scene of eerie normality met the eyes of the investigators. A table was set for dinner, a laptop was open and still turned on, and all the boat's emergency systems were fully functional. Yet the crew had vanished, as if plucked from existence by some invisible hand. Despite extensive investigations, no trace of the men was ever found. Theories of their disappearance ranged from a freak wave washing them overboard to bizarre suggestions of UFO abductions. The unsettling mystery of the SS Kaz II remains unsolved to this day, and the yacht now holds a chilling reputation as the ghost yacht of Australia's coral coast. Number 3. MV Alta. Well, it has since been identified as the MV Alta. A name that still resonates in maritime mysteries is the MV Alta, an abandoned vessel found off the Irish coast in 2020. The mysterious history of this 77-meter-long cargo ship adds another layer to its eerie story. The ship was built in 1976 and had seen many seas under different owners and names before becoming the Alta. Yet the exact identity of the final owner remained shrouded in mystery. This ghost ship's final journey began in 2018 when it became disabled while en route from Greece to Haiti. Unable to carry out repairs, the crew was rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard. But strangely, no company or nation stepped forward to claim the vessel, leaving it to wander at the mercy of the sea. Over the following months, there were sporadic sightings of the Alta drifting through the mid-Atlantic, each report fueling speculation about its fate. Mariners described it as a haunting silhouette on the horizon, a rusting hulk bobbing silently in the waves. Some even feared colliding with the abandoned ship at night, as it carried no lights or signals to warn others of its presence. Storms battered its hull, yet somehow the Alta remained afloat, almost defying nature itself. By the time it reached Irish waters, locals whispered about curses and bad omens tied to the arrival of such a vessel. Fishermen recalled old tales of ghost ships that brought disaster to the villages where they washed ashore. The fact that the MV Alta survived for so long without crew or guidance gave it an almost supernatural aura, cementing its place in modern maritime folklore. Here's where the story takes a chilling turn. Instead of being towed to the nearest port, MV Alta was left to drift. This unmanned vessel sailed lonely across the Atlantic for almost 18 months, surviving storms and high seas, all the while its exact location remaining unknown. Then in February 2020, a shocking discovery was made. The MV Alta, thought to be lost, was found washed up, fully intact, on the shores of Ireland near Ballycotton, County Cork. Not a soul was found on board, just a ghost ship carrying the silent tales of its mysterious journey across the Atlantic. Number 2. Carroll A. Deering. Our strange and mysterious journey continues from the chilling waters of the Atlantic Ocean surrounding Ireland to the American coast near Cape Hatteras. Here we find the story of another elusive vessel, the Carroll A. Deering. The Carroll A. Deering, a 5-masted schooner, made her first ominous appearance in 1921. A ship of this size wasn't unusual for the time. What was unusual, however, was the complete lack of a crew. When discovered, the ship was aground on Diamond Shoals, an area known for being particularly treacherous to sailors. But more eerie than the grounded ship was the scene on board. The galley was set as if a meal was about to be served. The crew's personal belongings were still there, but the lifeboats were missing. Witnesses reported seeing the ship sailing erratically days before it was found, almost as if no one was at the helm. Some locals claimed they spotted shadowy figures on deck, though none could be identified. The Coast Guard launched an investigation, but no trace of the crew was ever uncovered, fueling speculation that they had been abducted or forced to flee. Rumors swirled that pirates or rum runners might have intercepted the vessel, but no evidence of violence was ever found. Others whispered about the infamous Bermuda Triangle extending its reach, pulling sailors into its mysterious grasp. Some even believed the ship was cursed, doomed to repeat a cycle of abandonment as a warning to others. The lack of definitive answers only deepened the enigma, turning the Carroll A. Deering into a maritime riddle that still haunts seafaring lore. There was no sign of any struggle or foul play, and all navigational equipment, including the ship's log, was gone, as if the crew had simply vanished. Over the years, several theories have been floated regarding the disappearance of the crew, from mutiny to rum running gone wrong, from storms to supernatural explanations. Each theory adds another layer of mystery to this already intriguing tale. But the real question is, where did the crew go? With no definitive answer, the Carroll A. Deering remains one of the sea's most captivating ghost stories. Number 1. RMS Titanic. As we journey through the spectral maritime tales, it's impossible not to acknowledge the ship of dreams, the RMS Titanic. Although it's not a ghost ship in the traditional sense, the Titanic story carries an eerie weight in history that transcends most ghostly tales. Launched in 1912, this behemoth was the largest, most luxurious ship of its time, a testament to mankind's technological prowess. Its maiden voyage, touted unsinkable, tragically became its last. En route from Southampton to New York City, the Titanic struck an iceberg, creating a gash in the ship's hull. What followed was chaos and confusion as distress rockets lit up the cold night sky, while passengers clung to the hope that help was on its way. The ship's band played hauntingly calm music, most famously Nearer, My God, to Thee, to soothe the panic-stricken crowd as lifeboats were lowered. Only a fraction of those aboard could be saved, as the ship carried lifeboats for just over half the passengers. Survivors later recounted the gut-wrenching cries of hundreds left in the freezing water, sounds that lingered with them for the rest of their lives. The icy Atlantic claimed families, friends, and some of the wealthiest figures of the era, alongside humble immigrants seeking a new life in America. Stories of bravery and sacrifice emerged, like that of the ship's captain, Edward Smith, who went down with his vessel, and the engineers who kept the lights burning until the very end. Even the ship's final breakup was described in almost supernatural terms, as though the ocean itself was swallowing the pride of human achievement. For decades after, rumors of ghostly apparitions of the Titanic and its passengers would be whispered about, feeding into the lore of the greatest maritime tragedy. The tragedy became not just a disaster, but a legend, carried on by the voices of survivors and the haunting silence of those who never returned. Despite the alarming situation, the initial reaction was one of disbelief. The invincible Titan couldn't possibly sink, but the icy Atlantic waters rapidly filled the ship's compartments, sealing the fate of more than 1,500 passengers and crew. The sinking of the Titanic was an event so catastrophic, so unbelievable, it echoed through time and generations, and the wreckage lay undiscovered on the ocean floor for more than 70 years. Ever since its discovery, the Titanic has been immortalized through countless stories and films, a ghost ship in its own right. Its tragic tale serves as a chilling reminder of man's hubris, making it one of the most haunting narratives of the sea. That brings our mysterious maritime journey to a close. If this voyage captured your curiosity, be sure to set sail into another adventure by clicking one of the videos on your screen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating explorations ahead.